Well, I am very excited to have an opportunity to introduce you to a friend I'm very honored to have in my life. Her name is Catalina Salazar, and her focus, her whole goal is to teach people how to manage money better. But her real goal is to try to get to folks when they're younger. We suck as an educational system to not teach children how to manage money, now not to even balance a checkbook. So that's Catalina's focus. Wait to hear what she has to say. Hey, Catalina, it's so great to be with you. I'm truly honored that I'm having the opportunity to have a chat with you because I will share with you that I love what you do as a coach. As you know, I'm a coach as well. I deal with businesses. You deal more with individuals. And I wanted to have an opportunity to chat with you about what you do, why you do it, where it's going, and the passion behind it, because I know there's passion there. So that's why I'm excited to have this time with you. So your company name again, and then share a little bit about you and how you ended up here, if you don't mind.
Absolutely. My company name is Desired Outcomes Coaching. And what I do is I help people find clarity and confidence around their money.
Mm.
And what led me here is I've been fighting poverty in the nonprofit and corporate arena for decades.
Oh.
And my area of interest has always been children and youth.
Mm.
And what I really wanted to do was give them tools to break those generational
Mhm.
cycles.
Mhm.
And then I got to a place where I decided I wanted to coach and I wanted to coach on money specifically. I had come to a place in my life where I realized that although I had a budget, I was making good and consistent money. There were a couple months that the money just didn't last through the month. And I had to really hone in and get right with my money. And when I realized that debt was optional, I wanted
Mhm.
to shout it from the mountaintop.
Mhm.
And that's what I'm doing now as coaching. I work with clients to help them as adults. I recognize that a lot of successful professionals carry with them that childhood wiring
Mm.
that has caused them to be stuck in a money pattern or cycle that is not helping them get to the big goals that they have. So
Mhm.
that is really why I do what I do, is because I see that there is so much more potential. I believe we can change the entire economy if we would just get right with our money.
Yeah, it's interesting. What came to my mind when you brought up children and youth, we don't teach kids anything about money in school. We don't teach them
Right.
how to balance a checkbook. We don't even have any concept of saving. We don't have any of that. Nobody teaches that. And so, but I also what another trigger for me was your comment that break the cycle. And I admire that tremendously because my parents, my father, both of my parents went through the Depression. They were just never savers. They did end up saving and they were fine. They did enough, but not nearly as much as they could have. And it was as much because both of them, neither one of them had a whole lot. My mom was one of seven, way too many kids, one of seven children in the Bronx, where my grandmother did laundry and washed floors to survive. Uh, so they were never taught, even then, how to be more responsible, how to understand just each time you get a paycheck, how much money are you putting away? And so do you delve deeper into that? And are you still working with the younger people?
I On my list of people that I really want to work with are high schools and
Mm,
specifically continuation schools.
mm,
And I want to be able to reach that youth and help them to destroy any thoughts that they have about staying back in life that
mm,
causes them to believe that they don't deserve more.
mhm.
And what you talked about is teaching the principles,
Right.
and teaching the principles is very, very important. But when we can start looking at our thoughts
Mm,
in a
mm,
very objective
mm,
way,
mm,
we can
mm.
start to see them and recognize that some of those thoughts that dance in our head do not belong there. They're
Right.
thoughts that other people placed inside of us that are not serving us in any sort of way. I was working with a client this week, amazing client. She's done huge things. We've been together for 3 years. She just continues to up her goals, and we continue to increase and stay together. But she told me since we've been coaching together, she has, my goodness, I don't even know all that she's done, but she paid off her home
Wow.
and she started a business in Ecuador, and she is harvesting cocoa beans.
Wow.
And she came to me as a widow who her husband managed all the money. She
Mm,
didn't know how to manage money. And she was really feeling like, I don't know what to do. She felt paralyzed.
mm,
And so we started getting her mind straight on that. And what she said to me this week was, I really want to go back to school. And so I asked her all the questions, and she said art. She settled on, I really like art, but my husband used to tell me that art is never going to pay the bills.
mm,
And I
mm,
stopped her. That is your
mm,
husband's thought. That is your husband's belief. And you no longer have the bills
mm,
that you had when you were raising a family,
mm.
that you had when you were trying to grow and buy your home and do all of those things. And she was able to really see it from a different
Mhm.
perspective and recognize that's my husband's thought.
Right. That's
That is
so
not true.
that is so powerful because the negative self-talk, where does it come from? Because I do a whole bunch of different types of coaching, mostly about successful businesses and mostly teaching them how to stay out of trouble and be profitable. But that within that comes the negative self-talk, the somebody you're not good enough, somebody else saying, you know what, you're never going to amount to
Yep.
anything. And where did
Yep.
that all come from? And so that helping individuals recognize the negative stuff that's been kind of squished into their head, and having that get removed and then take some control back, what a powerful thing you're doing for them. It's pretty special.
And that's the majority of my work. It is really getting your mind right
Hmm.
around what your goals are, making sure that they're your goals. And
Right.
we really dig into the why. What is your reason why? And that's how people are able to stay on track.
Hmm.
Whether they coach with me or not long
Hmm.
term, once you can figure out really what your why story is, and people a lot of times come to me because they want to be debt free, or they want to start investing, or they want to buy a home. And when we dig deeper, there's so much below that surface. Why do you want to buy a home? Why do you want to get out of debt? And it usually will land on something relational.
Hmm.
But we start up here. But
Hmm.
when we start digging, it's, oh, you want to leave a legacy,
Right, right, right. Yeah.
right? So we can get there through coaching and through that conversation.
One of the things that I do when because again, I've been in the real estate industry, as you know, for 40 years and very successful in my branch management leadership role. I
Mhm.
did that for a long, long time. And it honestly directly came from, you got to remember, real estate agents is 100% commission. You don't make any money unless you close a deal.
Mhm.
But if your head's not on straight, and so similar to your why, I used and I still do this a lot when I'm speaking to groups. I did a presentation. I was doing a keynote not terribly long ago, and it was a bunch of sales guys. And I'm trust me, I'm minimalizing this, but I said, do you understand that money needs a job? Money has to have an assignment, and when you have an assignment for that, that matters enough, which ties to your why. Are you going to focus then? And it works. It really works. That's how I created the successful offices I created because yeah. But
And you've created successful offices. You've created many, many successful
Mhm.
realtors.
Mhm.
You have guided and shaped a lot of their thinking and their path to achieve their goals.
Yeah.
And I think we all need somebody.
Right.
And whether it's a coach, a mentor, you decide who that's going to be for you, but we all need somebody
Yeah.
to hold that hope in front of us when we
Yeah.
can't see it. And as coaches, that's what we do.
Well, there's also
And
another piece to that. Don't you agree? Hold the hope in front of them, but don't, I mean, this is a curiosity for the way what you're doing. In my business, in my years in branch management and still as a coach in real estate, uh, there has to be a level of accountability to their plan.
yes, yes,
You know,
yes. Yes. And
and
when you show up and meet with me week after week, and when you don't want to talk about the goal, I'm going to bring it back up.
of course, yeah, good
And
job.
so I've had many clients tell me, because I've had husband and wife teams, and usually one of them wants it more than the other.
Hmm.
And for me, it's a lot of times been the husband who wants it more than the wife.
Okay, so you're taking a husband and wife, and the husband wants it more than the wife does. So talk about that. What does that look like? How do you navigate that, Catalina? What do you do?
It is interesting. I have had husband and wife teams where maybe it's the spouse that signs up for coaching and brings the other one, but they want it more for them than for
Yeah,
themselves.
yeah,
I
yeah.
see that, and I have had wives show up like this.
I'm not doing that. He made me come.
Right, and step back, and you
Mm-hmm.
barely see them on the camera.
Mm-hmm.
And but when you start to do the work
Hmm.
and you start to see the results, it's almost addicting.
Yeah.
And but I also have had where I've had where they haven't. I can think of one family particularly where they were both had some money infidelity things going on each.
Mm.
And it came out in coaching
Mm.
that one had a secret credit card.
Yeah.
The other one was stopping at this jewelry store on her way
Yeah.
home from work.
Yeah.
And they're both showing up acting like, well, he doesn't want to and she doesn't want to. And it's okay. So ultimately, we found out that neither of you really want to change.
Hmm.
And you don't get invited back if
No,
that's
no,
where you're
no, no,
at.
no, 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 no.
So how I deal with it, I continue to remind them of why they came to me,
Right.
and I let them decide, is that still important? Because maybe the goal has changed,
Yeah.
or
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
you're going to get honest with yourself and tell
Right.
me what the real goal is.
Right. And you know what? It's a good coach. We don't we see that's one of the things I went through an ILCF coaching program a bunch of years ago, and I remember so clearly one of the statements is that a good coach knows that they already know. A good coach's job is to get it out of them.
That's right.
Because when they say it out loud, now it's real. Oh my gosh, I said those words. Now it's a real thing. It's like there's a bubble above my head, and there
Yes, I
the
put it
words are
out
in
into the
there.
world.
Exactly,
Yes,
exactly.
right.
But that's when change can happen,
Hmm.
when it's said out loud, and if you don't want to change or you're unwilling to hear that you kind of need to, then I'm not your person.
Right. I can't want it more than
Right,
they want it.
right.
I just can't. I had a client whose mother paid for her to go through coaching. And it was about midway through the sessions that she got on board.
Oh,
And
wow.
it was when she started realizing that money affects everything we do,
Absolutely.
and or that I can think of anyway. And so when she realized that my coaching could help her go to work and ask for a promotion,
Hmm.
she was invested.
Hmm.
It wasn't just anymore a mama's check the box.
Yeah,
She wanted more and more of that.
yeah.
And so it's really you finding that place. But I love, as I've grown in coaching, I love that I get to decide. So I'll do
Hmm.
upfront consultations
Hmm.
or conversations,
Hmm.
and I get to decide if you get invited in or
Right,
not,
right,
because I don't have space for everybody.
right,
I'm one coach.
right.
And so with that, I can't spend the energy or the time wanting it more than the client wants
No,
it. And I
no.
don't want to take their money if they're not
Right.
really looking to change.
And that's there's some, of course, in my industry, there's massive coaching companies that have been around forever. And it, unfortunately, no names shall be mentioned, but unfortunately, very often they're more about the money than about the person because the amount of time. that you can provide to somebody to really dig in enough to know, can
Mhm.
I help? Can we do this? It's not 15 minutes. It's not even in some cases not 30 minutes. It's time.
It's a process.
It's a process. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm so proud of you and I love what you're doing. And I am excited to be able to share all about you. And, at the end, I'm going to make sure people can find you. And I think you're taking on a huge responsibility, and it's an enormously important thing because, yeah, the whole need versus want thing, that the paycheck and how much did you put away, and in my industry, because it's 100% commission, somebody gets paid a fairly large check, and they think they get to keep the whole thing. No, you don't. And oh, by the way, the government's going to want some of that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and and you also should be saving a piece of that each time. And so that's, I don't, that's not me. I'm teaching you how to be successful, but you're the person that can teach them how to use the money wisely. And that's enormously important. So I love what you're doing, Catalina.
Thank you.
Proud
Yeah,
of
and I've
you.
coached a lot of people who have that inconsistent income,
Hmm.
because learning how to manage that can really be tricky if you don't have the skills, if you don't have the mindset, if you don't recognize you need to
Right,
put some away for
right,
taxes.
right.
And you don't know when the next check is coming. Although you may be in, you mentioned that you are starting to go into another deal. You don't know how long or
Hmm.
short or how it's going to come out, right? You don't know the outcome yet. So to be able to set that money up
Hmm.
in a way that's going to last until the next windfall comes in. I
Absolutely.
have definitely worked with clients in that setting because they've gotten to a place where they're just sick and tired of feeling like they're crushed.
Mm. And that again, it's what you said earlier when we started is about where's their mindset? Is their head on straight? Because if their head is on straight, and again, you can only control one day at a time, which I'm doing a series on managing time that I'm going to be finishing and putting on my website soon because that's another piece to this. It's all about mindset. It's all about putting your head on straight. One of the things I've said to a couple of clients, okay, if you wake up and before you're out of bed, check your mind. And if your head isn't on straight, don't get out of bed until you put it on right.
Yep.
And if you get up and it's off, go back in bed. Try again.
Start over.
Try
We
again.
do redos all the time.
Let's have a do-over. Yeah, let's have a do-over. Well, I'm thrilled to call you my friend. I love what you're doing. I'm really excited to see the differences you're making in everyday human beings' lives and that you have a heart for the kids. If you can get to these high school kids and the continuation school kids and all these children who need to learn the foundation of, success, because
Yes.
I said this to somebody just the other day. Well, what are you going to do if you're 70 and you haven't gotten prepared to be 70?
And I get those clients often
Mhm.
that just didn't plan, didn't know, thought it would never come. And
Right.
now they're facing retirement and thinking, I'm going to have to work for the next 10 years.
Mhm.
And that's not the life they hoped for,
No, no.
but they didn't plan
Right.
for the life they wanted.
Yeah.
And so it's never too late to get on track with your
Right.
finances, but you're going to be a lot better off if you can do this earlier. And one of the phrases I've heard over and over again is, why didn't I know this in my 20s?
Right.
And so if I can get to them at that age, I'm really happy. I did have a very young girl join her mom this week in a series, a class series that I'm doing. Intentionality, awareness, and consistency are the
Mm.
three-part course. And she brought her just graduated high school daughter, and her eyes were wide open,
Mhm.
taking in the information. And I was more excited than she was
Yeah.
because that's the age.
Yeah. Yeah. I've got so many things I can apply that to that I will not. Very personal stories of my own. My ex was just very poor when he was raised and just never learned to manage money. They didn't have anything. They were very, very poor. But you know what? you learn lessons when you decide to make changes. You know, it's this is who I am right now, who I want to be at 70 or who I want to be at 55.
Right.
And if it isn't, then I need to fix that. I need to know that, you know, I can be okay. So I think it's awesome. I appreciate you so much. Grateful to call you my friend, Catalina, and
Same.
I look forward to seeing you again sometime soon, maybe down here where I live. It'd be awesome.
That's the plan. I plan to get down there very, very soon, and I'm going to make sure that we connect.
Absolutely, Catalina. Thank you so much, my friend, for your time. I really appreciate you. See you next time.
Thank you very much.